Gentlemen, look the agenda over.
Second.
Okay. And I will call for vote. Primer, aye.
Your aye.
How about the minutes? Have you had a chance to look the minutes over? Have any additions, corrections, questions?
I look over here. Motion approved.
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded on the minutes. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Your aye.
And moving right along, how about the claims? Any questions on the claims?
I did not see the ARPA one. What page is that on?
Oh, that is on page 5. $6,500 Iowa Natural Heritage. 6,500.
That's one of Shelby's.
You see it there?
Yep.
Okay. Oops. I will ask you a question. On page 1, just about an inch and a half up from the bottom, it says DHS office supplies, 1,080. Is that a reimbursement?
No, they still get certain budgeting expenses from us.
Okay, okay,
That Mindy comes in and presents to you guys.
all right. Very good.
So that's not through the indirect one.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Mine was answered. How about you guys?
It's on page 5. I got one quick question.
Sure.
Yep.
Towards the bottom, weed logo.
Under the weed,
Yep.
I think they're getting some stickers on those new vehicles probably.
Okay. I just see it's the same amount, just one digit difference on the,
Yep, the two different invoices.
okay.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? All right, I'm sorry, the expenses.
So moved. I'll second the.
Okay. Moved and seconded to approve those claims. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Your aye.
If you could initial, please. How about that ARPA claim? Can we get a separate motion to approve that?
Motion approved, the ARPA one.
Second.
Moved and seconded on the ARPA claim to $6,500. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Your aye.
And Haley, I think we're gonna jump over the
No, that's-
service areas.
Yep, that's fine, because I
Purchased it.
have
Well-
those resolutions in a specific order today, so.
Barb does hers at 9:05 here, so
Yep, that's fine.
Barb.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barb.
I have an application for a farm exemption for a Karen Fountain. She is in Eden 6. She is going to build another house there along 63rd Street. The piece that she's looking at is currently 56.59 acres. Most of it is in corn and soybean rotation. She owns more ground than that, which is contiguous. She qualifies.
Not dividing it off or anything, just?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right. So it'll be the same parcel, obviously, so, okay. Questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to approve Karen Fountain's request for farm exemption. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Your aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Now, if we can come back to your service areas, please.
Actually, we can wait, because I'd rather do them after I do all those number 11 and 12,
Okay, we sure can.
because of how I numbered the resolutions.
Okay. How about a Class C retail alcohol license? You know what, I did, didn't I? I slid right on by some of ours, I apologize.
Please, that's fine.
We'll do this and come back.
I'll make a motion to grant the Class C retail alcohol license for
Beyonder?
Beyonder Resort at Lazy Acres.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded to approve that Class C retail alcohol license. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Your aye.
And Barb, I apologize, I missed part of yours.
That's fine. I'm here to ask you to consider approving and adding 5 days of vacation for me effective July 1st. It's my understanding that the committee that is looking at our handbook is looking into discussing some aspects of having vacation added to those that have had 17 years or more of service to the county, because you are froze at 4 weeks at that time and you cannot add any more. It's just not been allowed. However, it is my understanding that we are allowing more than 4 weeks of vacation to people that are new here. And after 39 years, I feel I've earned it, and I would qualify to have an extra week's vacation. I would like mine given by July 1st, effective date. I understand there's a lot of other people that have 17 years or more that are deserving as well of having a look at a benefit like that, as well as I'm concerned about the sick time conversion that we have in there. Those that do not abuse their sick time lose it when they retire or leave employment here. I don't think that's fair, guys. If you've earned it, not abused it, there ought to be some sort of conversion that's advantageous for the employee as well as the employer. And I would request that you look at that as well. I think that that's a good thing for people that have not abused it to take a look at. But I understand you're not ready yet for the other folks with the 17 years and more to consider it, but I'm asking you today to consider mine.
How close are we to coming up with this handbook, through the handbook committee.
Yeah,
So-
it's interesting timing because we met last week, this subcommittee did, and I think July 10th?
Something like
Yeah, we have another one coming up on July 10th. And some of these same things that she's talking about are on the docket. There's another county that does something pretty unique with the sick leave conversion. It's kind of like rewarding employees that are good stewards of that time. And it's putting it into this bank that potentially could be used for, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it looks like it's kind of like a health insurance reimbursement after they leave type thing. And so there's different pieces of that getting some more information from them and how they administer it. But the committee is made up of several departments and all kind of were interested in looking at something with that sick leave and then also looking at our current tier schedule as far as what people are awarded when, and the cap about the 17 years did come up as well. I think that, I think Melinda's on the committee and that would affect you too as well. So it's definitely on our docket. We're meeting again in a couple of weeks. I don't disagree that it should be looked at and that, revisions and, rewarding those people with that longevity. My only caution would be if you approve one today and then, what if we do something different with that? What if it's more? What if it's less? You might want to just do it all in bulk. It is a high priority. One, I mean, we all kind of had homework from that meeting and are hoping to knock a lot out on that July 10th meeting. So then potentially we might have something to present at that next board meeting. I'd want to circle it to department heads too and get their 2 cents worth, but maybe by end of July, so within the month. But it's obviously your decision, but just some thoughts to think about. I think we're moving in that direction, and got some good other handbooks to look at their examples to kind of go through.
Another thing to think about too, when we revise the handbook, you have to make sure all employees, all department heads, all commissions, so the conservation boards, Larry's, everybody has to sign off on that, so that they know what they're supposed to be following. So when you do these amendment and revisions, I feel like that's when they fall through the cracks. I know if you pass it on to those employees, but if they actually haven't officially signed off on them. Because in the front of the handbook, was every new employee, they have to sign off that they abide by that and agree to it. So it's something else to think about. That would need done again too.
How many different handbooks do we have in the county?
We just have
Well,
one, but
depends who you
but
ask.
between those amendments, that's what I'm saying, how do you know?
Well, we got 2 departments that's got amendments, right? At least,
2 departments that have amendments?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
conservation.
They have a separate addition to their handbook for like seasonal.
Shelby's on the subcommittees, and Shelby's great at communicating, so, she is on this vacation one, and, like the one that I'm proposing today has been circulated to all department heads, and so if you approve that one today for that section, then it gets updated online and people see the newest one, and then, I just assume that department heads then filter that down to employees, and, we can send out mass emails about that saying, hey, FYI, this one has been revised, but, it's a good point, just making sure, because I think that's what's happened in the past, is there's like 2 or 3 different versions, and then it wasn't communicated, and so I think that even goes back to, some were still thinking we had Martin Luther, and we had President's Day, or vice versa, so I think we just do need to do a good job of over-communicating any of those changes or that we make.
So is the plan to piecemeal this?
Yeah.
As the
Yep.
committee, is in agreement on something presented to us,
Right,
as long as we agree, then
yep,
it becomes part of the handbook at that time,
Right.
rather than doing the whole handbook at once.
correct.
Okay.
So if you'll remember, I think in February, you approved the adding of the Christmas Eve holiday.
Mhm.
And so we and then we kind of worded that when a holiday falls on a Saturday, Sunday, how that would look like.
Sure.
And so that one got approved, and then at the bottom, we put updated February 2024, added that page in, took the other one out, updated it. So like today is section 2.7, same thing, that would go in there. And then next month, if we get that vacation and sick leave one, same thing, we'd have that amendment and we'd put it out there and update that section rather than, it's a big project, so to wait until the end, I think is probably not the best way. And
What are you targeting for effective date, Nancy?
for the vacation sick leave one?
Yes.
Yeah, like I was saying, we're meeting July 10th and, you know, if we have good dialogue and agreement on the proposal, we could bring it to that, that next meeting in July, and then it would be up to you guys to say yay or nay, or we like this section but not this section, so, it would be
Could be the 16th, as early as the
could
16th
be as
is
early
what
as
you're
the
stating.
16th for
Sure.
a first review, and if you didn't like it, then, you know,
We've got 2 additional times, you know, with your request for by the 31st. Oh, by the 1st, I'm sorry.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Two departments would require an MOU with unions.
for vacation time, sick time adjustments.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's the other thing to consider, good point. July 16th could be maybe tough because, yeah, we'd want to make sure secondary roads and the sheriff's department vetted through that and made sure that that was, you know, okay for their needs. So might be the week after.
Okay.
I would like to see it done by the end of July. I mean, I think it's definitely a hot topic for a lot of people and, you know, we want to be generous to recruit people, that we have good benefits to recruit them. I mean, we're also looking at, you know, things like maternity leave and paternity leave and things that you see other organizations have that, you know, help us look like an employer of choice for incoming people. And then, again, rewarding loyalty and longevity. I think we want to be attractive at both ends of the spectrum. We want them to come here because we have great benefits, and we want them to stay here because we continue to reward them throughout their career. Be my 2 cents worth. So,
Okay. Any thoughts, any questions, fellas?
I think it makes sense to do everything at the same time instead of piecemeal it.
I'll try to get it done by the July 16th though.
okay. Poor Melinda, she's the only one here, so I'm putting the pressure on her. We got
I
work to do.
didn't remember when the test, or when the test, I couldn't remember when the meeting was.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
I think Barb's got a very good point. She really does. And I think, as Gary stated, rather than do here, do there, you know, on an individual basis, that we should do it countywide and treat everybody fairly.
I would be in agreement with
Yeah.
that. I feel that there are others other than me that would be deserving as well.
Sure. Okay, perfect. So,
If you're gonna target the 16th, I would be in agreement with
and,
that.
and again, that's gonna be subject to getting with the 2 unions, getting it through those, so, but we definitely wanna have it hammered out before the end of July. Is the way I can see it. So, and with the union being, unions being, I can't hardly think that they would disagree with additional.
If you're given extra, I
Yeah,
would
I
think they
know.
would just say, okay.
Yeah, so,
yeah,
okay.
I don't imagine much kickback, but yeah,
Yeah,
we should vet
yeah.
it through all those processes.
Okay, all right. Very good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Thank you.
So. Okay, item 9, we have appoint Veteran Affairs Commissioners, term, whose term ends end of this month, June
Yep,
30th?
so Courtney just dropped off 4 of them that she received, and there's 2 that need filled,
Okay,
or reappointed or filled.
okay.
Jeff Holmes was filling the vacancy for Courtney's term.
Sure.
And then
Oh, I didn't write the name down, I'm sorry.
I have 2 copies of them.
Can I get this real quick?
Here, I have another copy if you want to pass.
This is fine.
And then the other one would be Mike Sahanic, because
So Jeff and
Mike Sahanic.
Mike Sahanic are the 2 that are currently on there.
That need to be,
Mhm.
deals get through next year. That doesn't have Victor Schmitz in there, does it?
No, is there a 5th one?
No, he applied, but he did message me when he had something come up and redacted.
Okay, okay.
I didn't know if Courtney, I don't think Courtney had it in her
No.
file.
Here's the folder forms. Haley, is this a 2 or a 4-year term? Okay, right in the middle. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, it's kind of nice to have more than ample applicants to fill the positions. Jeff Holmes and Michael Sohanic are the current members of that commission. Any thoughts?
I was kind of leaning on Mike Zelonic and John Martin.
Okay. I was kind of leaning on Jeff Holmes and leaving Michael, just leaving it as it is.
Correct.
So Jeff had just gotten on there. So hate to put somebody on and then just pull them back off. Gary, your thoughts?
I'd like to have all 4 of them on there.
Yeah, well. My guess is Jeff has only had 1 meeting and she's not here working. That'd be about right, yeah.
Well, I'd like to see Jeff on it again.
Okay. Is that your motion? To have those 2 appointed? Jeff and Michael? All right. That's his motion,
Second.
and that's your second, so I will call for a vote. Primer, aye?
Seaman, aye.
Okay. Thank you. We don't need to initial these or anything. I didn't think so. Thank you. Okay. All right, Haley, you got Bailey's annual agreement?
Yep, so we started our fiscal audit last week for fiscal year '24. So this is just what we sign yearly with them, what they go over with their compliance checklist. Just need that signed and approved. We're already locked in with the 3-year, but this is just the yearly.
Okay. It's just the annual, just
Yep,
making it official. Okay. And by locking it in, we locked in the rate.
yes, we're already, that part was done last
Yeah.
year.
Mhm. Which is good. Yeah, like I'm gonna digest all that stuff. How long have they been doing this for us? Do you recall?
Since I've been here, 26 years at least, 'cause they were mean, we always have a different main auditor,
Sure.
but then they assign 2 others that come with them.
Nice.
They're one of the bigger companies in the state, you know, the state auditor. I believe there's a couple other private ones.
Okay.
Just a point of order and then just a question on that. Doug Cook, anyway, what's the cost of that? Is there a cost to that?
To the fiscal audit every year?
Yeah.
Yes. They go off of kind of what your amount of money they're looking into too. So like our budget, if we have like 25 million, there's a kind of a,
So it varies.
yep, it varies per year. And then depending on if we do a federal audit, which when we have grants and pass through, if it reaches a threshold, then we have to do an additional audit for federal audit, which we've qualified for the last few years, so that adds on a little bit. I want to say last year we spent like 62,000,
How much was it?
62,000, around that way. I mean, I can give you that in exact. And then every so many years you have to do like a GASB and OPEB statement. That's kind of where we are with our liability with the retirees, et cetera. So just, there's a lot of variations of what could add on, what cost.
Is that per year or for the 3 years?
Per year, yep. And then we actually pay to file it with the state auditor's office too. So, which all entities have to.
By locking it in, a 3-year contract, you know, you kind of hedge against inflation. So, which we did that last year, wasn't it?
Yep. So like this year, we'll definitely have the ARPA, the opioids, so we'll do the federal audit, probably continuing for at least a few more years.
So, gentlemen, questions, or can I get a motion to approve that?
Motion approved.
Second. Good. Been moved and seconded to adopt a resolution approving this.
No, it's not a resolution, it's just a
Oh,
arrangement.
sorry.
Yep.
Yep, it's not a resolution, wrong line. To acknowledge this with Bailey, their agreement, so. Call for vote, Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Rear guy.
You want me to sign this here, I presume? I signed it.
Yep. Sue, if I email you something, could you print me a couple resolutions?
Okay. And
I'm gonna send two to Sue to print for me. I have 2 black folders, and I think we got put the other one that's going with me to conference.
this is the resolution you got for the, is that the one you want to do next, Haley?
I have
Fiscal year 25 departmental
appropriations.
appropriations.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, let's see, I have 60, 62. All right, I got Sue printing 3 for me.
Okay.
So if you go in order, if you look by the numbers. And then she's getting me 64. So this is the official bank deposit limits, which Melinda and I double checked all these. These are the individual banks, Lexa has, Ron has a couple, and I verified with these individuals. We use that one in Belle Plaine for like when transportation gets their fees, they
Sure,
deposit.
sure.
So
makes
that one's
sense.
just the yearly one on that. And then this is all the county banks that Melinda and I use, and we have a threshold of the most amount we can deposit in.
Sure.
These are just yearly ones. And then the appropriations, it'll say for fiscal year starting July 1st, 2024. If you guys are appropriating the official budgets that you adopted, now's the time if you wanna specify, like, in years past, I know at one time a specific department got half of it for the year, half later. I mean, this is the time where you would do that, where you'd have to amend this later. So it's basically just citing the code section 331.437, that no department can spend their budgeted money unless you guys have authorized that, even though the budget's been approved. So that's another one of those yearly things we have to do.
Okay.
So those are those three for now, and then I'll wait for Sue to get me those other ones. A lot of these take place at fiscal year end at the same time, so
Okay,
it's pretty straightforward. We basically change the dates or
sure.
if the code section changes.
Hand these on to you, and then,
And then these are what I received from the elected officials. Ron sent his in an email, and so did Ray, but that resolution for certifying the deputies is on here too, so.
You printed mine off, didn't you? Haley?
Yep. Put the fund transfers on there, didn't I?
What can I do for you today, sir?
Thank you.
any questions on those gentlemen?
None whatsoever.
Sue, I sent you one
Gary,
more,
if you-
the appropriate, or the
Gotta go
deputies.
do one more?
Yep, one more, the one I just sent you. It's the,
You ready?
I want to do these
Sorry.
in order, obviously. Resolution 24-60 is the county official bank depository limits. That's the short one.
Okay,
Can I get a motion to approve that?
motion approved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded to approve the official bank depository limits. Call for vote, Primer, aye.
Team and
Undershake, aye.
And then 24-61 designates the named banks to be depositories for the county funds. And these are the limits as well. This is the second one. So I'll need a motion to approve that.
I. Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Call for vote, Primer, aye.
Team and
Undershake, aye.
And the last one is the appropriations. motion to approve that?
Motion to approve appropriations.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Team
Pursuant, aye.
Okay, while she's getting my service area amendment, I can explain to you how, as you know, it's the end of the fiscal year, so we don't want any departments to go over or under, or over their spending authority. So, for example, Alexa has a couple funds in service area 8, so she'd asked me to adjust $1,500 from one into her general. And then I have a capital projects. I think Shelby started with that tree project. Thank you. So I have to move 2,200 from 1,500, fund 1,500 to fund 0030, which is the CDBG, until she gets that grant money to
Sure.
cover it. And then I'm moving 2,000 from Fund 2, Department 61, which is juvenile detention, and then we're moving it into Fund 2, Department 31, which is courts. Ray just had a bunch of expert witness fees, so to cover that. So those are the adjustments I need to make on the service area. And then the other one is the certification of deputy salaries for fiscal year '25,
Okay.
and then those
Let's
letters.
do this amended areas
Yep.
first, okay?
Which here? Sorry, this should be number 16.
Any questions on those, gentlemen?
No.
Fix the numbers. I didn't get the transfer funds in there, so I got off some numbers. Yep.
So this is resolution 24-63.
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve that, the amended areas, service areas?
Motion to approve the amended service areas.
Second.
Okay, I'll call for vote. Primer, aye.
Team and I.
Pursuant, aye.
Melinda, I'll get you copies of the bank ones.
Next item would be the fiscal year 25 salary certifications for deputies in the auditors, recorders, treasurer's, sheriff, and assistant county attorney's office. And it would be resolution 24-64. And there's those. Thank you. The first sheet's got all their names, et cetera.
And again, this is just another one of those things you have to do every year.
Sure.
Next week I'll have on there those interfund transfers. This ones I didn't get in there, that's why I got off my numbers.
Okay. Won't be too late, will it? Yeah.
No, because it doesn't start till after July 1st.
Okay, okay. Let's say we could have a special if you needed to.
No, we should be fine.
All right.
We do those quarterly anyway.
Okay.
And I'll be gone to Des Moines the rest of the week.
Any questions there, gentlemen, on any of those?
I'll make a motion to approve the salary certification for the deputy auditors, recorders, treasurers, and sheriff, and assistant county attorney.
Second.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded, and I think that was, the resolution number was at 2464, something like that.
Correct.
Yep. I'll call for vote. Primer, aye?
Seaman, aye.
Pearson, aye.
Very good. You have to sign that? Oh. Yeah, you can now. I think it's just top one here. Melinda?
I have a resignation from one of my deputy treasurers. She has gotten a different job, and so she'll be leaving effective July 5th will be her last day. We've already posted the job, so, on the website.
Well, gentlemen, we have to acknowledge this.
Oh, I probably should tell you who it is.
Well, yes,
Ann Stevens, sorry.
we have it in front of us.
Okay,
Yeah.
Did she write you a letter? And
yes, and
I would pass that to get them initialed.
oh, okay. Gary?
So I think we probably need to officially have a motion to acknowledge her resignation. All right, I'll make that motion. Can I get a second? You did? Very good. All right, the moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Pearson, aye.
I think we all need to
Yeah, I
initial
think
it.
you all,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Pass it down. There you go.
Okay. I can send them a copy. Yeah, that'd be great. Great. Do you want to send that back down to me for the file? And just an FYI on that, Melinda reached right out last week and we got it posted. Just an FYI on that, Melinda reached out to me right away on that, and we worked and got it posted right away, and we already have 22 applicants. Yeah. Super awesome. Super good. Right. Okay,
Very
thanks,
good.
Melinda.
Thank you, Melinda.
Yep.
Okay.
No problem.
Uh,
All right, so I think I'm up next, right? So as you're well aware of the Tyler Technology software that we've been debating on for the time and attendance for the paperless timesheet. Our quote that we received, the most recent quote, expires June 30th. So Adam has reached out to us, and then I know, Tracy, you were concerned on that cancellation fees, and we pointed out in section F, I think you guys received all these, but if not, I can pass them around. And I did reach out to a couple counties that are using it, and the paperless timesheets can do it'll do the calculations, you can still approve it. So it's an add-on to our current financial software, but then you can add on the parameters, so like we were talking about, like using their phones, you don't have to enforce all that. You don't have to make them log in on their phones, you can still continue to do it like they were, calling into Deb, etc. So I know there was hesitation in some counties, the engineer's office did not want to use it, is what I've been hearing. And then I also have a list for you guys of all the counties and what they use. That's what I went off of to who I reached out with. So I just put it on there because our quote's gonna expire and June 30th is for next week's meeting, so. At this point in time, I'm ready to start the process to do the paperless time and attendance. And then we can discuss further on those. I don't know what, if we're gonna enforce them to log in on their phones, all that. But this is the initial. It's gonna be the $15,870 upfront. That's to do all the conversion. And then the add-on every year for our licensing fee that would go on Ben's budget will be the $14,505. What?
One more time.
$14,505.
That's an annual?
Correct. I'll pass this around. All of our software through Tyler is that way. We pay annual fees, but it's like per chunks of what it pertains to. Like Lexa uses the Eagle. So here's all that stuff. If you want to look at it.
Did you say the engineering department's secondary roads a little?
Well, I talked to a couple counties, and Tama County was one of them most recently, that since they're up and running fresh now, and she said they're using it without some of that other, they're just implementing it through the calculations and that. And then there's other counties I've already been aware of, but I know they were the newest one, and I think you guys had talked to them, or Sue did. So. So that would help, like, that's strictly pertaining to the payroll and the calculations. And he said you can add, like, mobile access and time clocks later on if you want. There's a lot of things you can discuss to implement or not implement with this.
What is Eagle?
That is our recorders, like where we record all the documents coming in, like the deeds, like a transfer of real estate. It's called Eagle. It's through a scanning system, so it's an add-on to our Tyler Technology software. It's still a Tyler product, but they call it Eagle. Like what I'm asking for is the time and attendance. It's just different names for ES&S.
So yours would be finance? They call it finance?
It would be part of the payroll package. I mean, financial. It's tied into all of our financial and general ledger. It's hard to find a standalone paperless time clock thing that'll be compatible with our government accounting. I don't want to be doing a bunch of journal entries and up, because that's when you make mistakes.
And according to this, you got 59 counties in Iowa that are on this.
Correct. And the other ones are mostly on solutions. There's two main financial packages in the state of Iowa. And then we all have like a user group meeting that we attend. We can voice our opinion to Tyler if we have issues. We have support base camp email groups. This has been around for a while, and like I said, we addressed this 4 years ago, but we were hesitant because it was still fairly new. We wanted them to work out some glitches. So there's always room for improvement. And I know all the department heads we've met. In fact, you guys approved this back in September of 2023, if you recall. And then on September 13th of 23, Sue had reached out to them and canceled it. And then we all have met, and then all the department heads met in March this year and got to view it and see it. And we're happy with it.
So as for the secondary roads, gentlemen, you know, we discuss about iPads instead of using their phones.
See, and that's all, we can add that in later. Currently,
We can add it in later.
the way we do payroll currently is Deb's entering all the secondary roads, because they have their DOT codes. So somebody at a maintainership, they might have did 4 hours of road clearing one day. 4 hours of something else. That all has to be specifically coded per day, what they do. So they let Deb know. She enters the secondary roads into our system daily. And then when the payroll packets come to us, we add all the courthouse employees and sheriffs and all that. So you still have to have it oversee their timesheets. You know, like Ron might have an employee that said they worked a 12-hour shift or whatever. He still has to verify that, and he can make changes before it comes to us. They could do that now through the software. We wouldn't have to look at their physical paper timesheet that we fill out. Do you recall that one in the demonstration? When they have to approve. So the department heads still have to approve, whether the employee's inputting their own or not. Melicia's here too for payroll input. If they had any questions.
So, I was surprised to see this on the agenda, like she indicated, like Haley indicated. I was the one who had brought this up in the fall and said, hey, I think we need to look at automated time and attendance. And so we had started to look at this, and yes, it initially agreed to go to Tyler, and then kind of heard some concerns, and then was looking at some other systems that would be an all-in-one system. And then,
But again, that wasn't compatible with our financials though, some of those that you were having me look at.
right.
This is a payroll matter. My office does payroll.
Right, but there is some correlation with other pieces of it that I think we need to vet out. Anyway, what I was saying was, I had asked for permission to look into this in the fall, and you guys had given me that, and I've kind of, I guess, been the point person on it, setting up the demos, getting department heads weigh in, all that sort of thing. And my last communication with Tyler was in mid-May, and we had some questions about the contract, and I don't know that Ray has seen the contract yet. Has he? He has?
I sent it all to him last week.
Okay, did he respond back on it? Okay.
He was asking, he knew we originally approved it back in September, is
Right.
what he was asking on.
Yeah.
But this isn't the, like I said, we've approached them 4 years ago and asked about this as well.
Right. So, and then, of course, Tracy, we had that interview where somebody from a different county said they kind of, some of the things they said they hadn't done yet. And so we were gonna vet that out a little bit. And then I think Tracy, we had met with Ben, and we were having him check on the tablet piece of it and if the Wi-Fi could be used in those sheds. I guess I hate to see us rush into this, and we had a few other pieces we were still looking into. The comp time was another one that I was having them look into. We were told that was gonna be instantaneous, but it sounds like it's not, and as we know, change is hard, and there's already several staff who've expressed concerns about what's this gonna look like, how is this gonna work. I think my recommendation would be that we look at that a little closer to see how that would. If the tablet in the shed works, that provides our transition a lot easier than saying, okay, you have to use this on your devices. By law, we can tell them they have to log in on their personal device, but if the tablet and the Wi-Fi option would work, that might be a better option. So I haven't heard or circled back to Ben. Have you, Tracy?
No, I have not.
Okay. We had met with him and said, hey, can we try a tablet in one of the sheds and see if this would work? Because that would be a pretty minimal expense. And I haven't heard, and we haven't circled back to see, but that was one of the things we wanted to look at. And then we had that pay issue earlier this year with that employee that we hadn't caught their increase, and there was some things I was asking him to look at to see if some of those things could be built in. Again, the more automated it can be, the less chance of human error. So like, roads, for example, has those automatic step increases, and if you could preload those so it wasn't reliant on.
As I said, this is the initial setup. You can add all those mobile access and time clock stuff and decide later on. We could still implement the addition to the payroll time
So it wouldn't
sheets.
have to be all departments at once.
Right.
We could start.
Right, so I worked for a software company for 25 years, and what Haley is just wanting approval of.
Okay,
Okay,
no,
no, I think,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, you're not involved in the conversation,
Oh,
sorry.
I'm new here, sorry.
The 15,000, that's upfront money?
Yes, so it'd be like anytime we upgrade or convert software, there's a fee, because they're gonna have to do some changes and we have to implement this, so
And then the 14,500 is for the annual fee.
annual fee,
Now, the annual fee does not come in effect till next year.
correct.
So
We do this, like if you look at all of our like Venn software stuff, there's annual fees to all the different things we do. And that covers support, et cetera.
So the first investment for the first 12 months would be this 15,780
Correct.
for what?
870, I think, wasn't it?
That would be the implementation, getting this up and running.
Yeah, just you, not what she needs to have.
Correct, we can do it as a standalone
What you want
without
will
what
be
she
added
wants
on.
for currently.
Right, what I'm saying is, if you approve this today, you are tied to this system. And we have questions about this system, and I think the surest way for a new change to not go over well with staff is to not vet out some of these other pieces of it. So yep, there can be add-ons, and there can be workarounds, and there can be those sorts of things. But I think there's some basic questions we don't have answered yet, and I just would hate to see us rush into this without vetting out a few of those
I
concerns.
guess, what are the other concerns, because Adam has been more than gracious, and Tyler has come and met with us numerous times. Like I said, we approved it back in September. It's I don't know what other kind of software companies that you're thinking, because it's not gonna be compatible with our financials. And I am in charge of the payroll, so I guess I could still ask for permission to do this, whether you like it or not, and you can do your standalones later on with your additions.
Right, this doesn't have anything to do with standalones or HR systems or anything. This has to do with a big change for the entire population of staff. And I think, again, had I known that there was conversations going on that I wasn't privy to, we could have vetted some of this out and been more prepared for today, but I just learned about this when I saw the board agenda, so I didn't know.
Well, you knew it was expired June 30th.
If I may, with this expiring the 30th,
Yes.
what is, if we go into July, for example, what's it gonna increase to? Have you any idea?
I don't remember, but I remember Sue had her software quotes prior, and she was trying to push me because of those quotes expiring.
Yeah.
Adam has
Right,
reached out to
right.
us back in May. He addressed your concern that you said at that time, and that was the clause for section F.
Yes.
So you got that answered. At that particular time, that was the only question left. And I'm just trying to, you were wanting to implement a paperless timesheet. And now I'm willing to go with this. And now, like I said, secondary roads does not have to log in on their phones or do anything. I'm not enforcing any of that. We can still continue payroll as we've been doing, minus the paper timesheet. Deb can still enter. Ron can still check his employee. It'd be the same process. We're eliminating the paper step, and it's gonna help do our calculations better and eliminate errors.
I can't imagine a month would make a huge difference in their cost. I mean, when I was kind of looking at my costs,
I think he's just trying to get us on the schedule. As you see, there's 59 counties. A lot of us are implementing this at once. They have to assign us coordinators, so we kind of just want to get something in the rec books because we're going to be doing another election. We're just trying to get it where it would fit.
So secondary roads, sheriff's department, they would not have to go with their phones or an iPad right away.
Correct. Somebody would just have to access their time, just like we bring up the personnel,
Understood.
the person in that file.
All right, now, okay. 3 months, 4 months down the road, it's working. We like it. now we're gonna make secondary roads start using their phones or no extra fee, or is there gonna be an extra fee for that?
I don't know on that. He said then there's just different things you can talk about, like you can get time clocks if they wanted to punch a time clock, or mobile access. There's different, as you recall, we watched that other, were you there on the second demonstration?
I'm sure I would,
Where it was more on the cloud type base,
yeah.
where that can get,
Ben
that's where
was-
it's confusing for
yeah.
Ben, like, because
Ben was
then,
worried about the cloud, and now you kinda switched over, thought the cloud was all right.
but then we'd still, if you, like Sue said, then we don't have Wi-Fi in those maintainer sheds for those individuals. And then that would be the decision where you make them use their mobile phones or not, type of thing.
Which they still have the two-way radios to call in, and that's also more, yeah, we know they're back in their shed, everything's all right, and Debbie can edit on her computer. Just like
Alicia used
now.
to enter payroll at secondary roads, so she's well aware of that.
You've been more closely involved in this
I
stuff
know
than
it,
we
I know
have.
it.
And you can, like, I talked to Tammy and Taman, I know you guys are familiar with her, but I've talked to other counties too, so. But they're very new with it, so I was getting her input and her auditor's input.
Yeah, I visited with her as well, and she had indicated, you know, you might want to ask some additional questions about it. And that's just my fear is, I think we want to make sure we vet out how that will work in the secondary roads. I don't think we want to say we'll do this. I think if we're going to say we are a county that wants to do automated time and attendance, we want to do automated time and attendance for the entire county. I don't think we want to say, well, you guys, this department can continue to do paper time sheets. I mean, it's about efficiency, it's about decreasing errors, it's about them having instant gratification of, oh, okay, I can see what my balance is. There is so many benefits to it, but I don't think we want to piecemeal it, like, let's try it here, and then let's see in 3 months if we can add secondary roads and how that would look like. My recommendation would be, let's do that on the front end. Let's see what Ben found out about this tablet, because if the tablet doesn't work, we need to make a decision about, are we gonna do the phones, or do we wanna buy automated time clocks, and what does that cost add on?
But again, regardless, we have to make a decision. We have to start with the base, and the base is this add-on. And we're not eliminating those
Basically, we already
departments.
signed up.
Correct. And we're not eliminating the
Follow
departments.
through.
They're still gonna utilize the new, they're just, the way they're gonna do it is like Sue's saying.
Well,
Because you have to worry about unions too. The unions are gonna get pushbacks with their phones and stuff.
the item in question here is this expires June 30th.
Mhm.
And whether we want to take advantage of that timeline or not. Haley said she doesn't know what the consequences financially would be if we don't, you know, and yeah, I guess my concerns are, you know, there's still some question, not that,
No,
I
but
don't
Tammy
wanna mess
says,
with her
Tammy says, go with it. The
payroll.
program itself is awesome. It's just whether you implement it. Like she said, do you guys have unions? We have 3, and one of them is roads, and they're not happy with the time and attendance. So their engineer might refuse to use it that way, making their employees do it. But you could still, like I said, have Deb do it the way she's been. Same with Ron. We could start having, like, he could have his jailer, his person in charge of the jail employees go in and sign off.
So
Or-
maybe they're not logging in through their phones or whatever, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming they could still have a login, and they could go on, oh, I have this much comp, I have this much vacation left,
Yeah.
sick leave.
The screenshots are really nice, because it is, like you said, it pulls it up, look at it, there's your comp use, unearned, all that. It's right at one glance. And you could even do a screenshot easy enough.
Yeah. And we're sending paper
'Cause-
stubs and paper timesheets to them, so they
Yeah.
have
So-
verification of what they have left.
Because currently, the software is calculating the payroll. Our paperless timesheet is using a program called Access, which is outdated. And so it's we have to put it in 2 different places. So, for example, if we're accused of a payroll error, it's not necessarily a payroll error, it's just didn't get on their timesheet correctly, but it's in the payroll software correctly. It's just because it's doing manually entries right now. So that
So-
would automatically populate their unused vacation, their unused comp, et cetera.
If we went with a different company, because this just plugs into the Tyler or the Tyler?
No, all of our financials.
This
Yep.
plugs into it?
To all your, like your
Okay.
ledgers, your detailed budget reports, everything.
Okay. So if we go with something else, then we would have to have an interface built.
Correct, and then you probably have to do journal entries. A lot of them I'm finding out they don't interact with IPers.
I have numerous interfaces, and they're like 15,000 a piece to build.
We used to have that, if you remember, we didn't have the financials versus the real estate, and it was a nightmare. Kelly would have to do double work every night to balance.
I've got them that run the fingerprint machines and things in the jail. The paging system runs on an interface, and they're like 15,000 a piece to have built.
So
And
I'm
they're-
not necessarily, oops, I'm sorry.
They work, but they're not perfect. It's not like the people that designed it.
I'm not necessarily saying, let's not use Tyler. I'm saying, let's not rush into this until we get a few more of our questions answered, because there's still a few questions outstanding that, again, I think you're most successful in implementing a change like this and being able to proactively say, hey, roads guys, this is how this is gonna look for you. This is how your life is gonna look different. I think it's worth asking, I can reach out to Adam and say, tell me what the price difference would be. I know when I was doing mine, and I was like, guys, we gotta make a decision, it was like, we don't wanna be rushed into anything regardless of a price savings, because we wanna make sure we're doing our due diligence. And again, that comp time one, I wanna vet that out a little bit more. If we're telling them you're gonna get instant gratification, and then another user is telling us that their guys are complaining because you put your comp time in and you told us we'd see it right away and we don't see it for 2 weeks, I think we wanna vet out a few more things just to be able to.
Sometimes those 2 weeks,
Accurately.
because the payroll is 2 weeks, and it has to come back up in the next payroll packet.
Sorry,
Yeah,
didn't mean
they
to
earn it for
ramble.
1 week of payroll,
Yeah.
and trying to use it the next week. It's not in the system.
Yeah, that's part of the problem they currently, and they currently have that issue now, but it's ongoing.
Yeah.
Same with the cities, my husband has that in his too.
What's your concern? The two concerns that I got are, upgrade to the, like 6 months, when they've been here 6 months, that it automatically,
Oh, the piece that I asked,
yeah.
yeah, so like Myron's department, for example, at certain increments,
I
you know.
understand that,
Oh,
but that's one of my concerns.
mhm.
That if the auditor's office,
longevity.
you guys don't have to keep track.
You're talking about longevity.
Yes, this person's worked here 6 months, he gets a pay raise on July 7th. You know, you don't have to be looking at your calendar.
You would set the
worrying about
parameters in here to tell.
160 people, you know, that's working for the county. That's one of my, comp time. That was the other question.
Mhm.
What I'm getting at, what else do you got? Because what we can do, I'll make a motion to approve this all, but we're gonna get these answers, some of these answers this week.
And I'll be
So-
at, Tyler Technologies is gonna be at my conference with our auditors summer school. So
Okay.
I can address Adam, and he can give you a call, whatever you want.
That would be great.
Okay.
But what else do you have?
I have the Wi-Fi piece, like, again,
Well, the
You and
Wi-Fi, me personally, I'm not concerned at that right now because I feel
Like
better.
you said, we can add
Where
that
you
on.
said they're gonna kind of use what we've been doing.
but
We're
that's
gonna call-
where I don't.
I understand that's your concern, but baby steps.
I don't think that's,
You're gonna have that with any software you use, because you're out in the rural, and not all have fiber, you're gonna have to pay for CenturyLink or
which is
With
why we're
hotspots.
testing it, which
Yeah,
is,
I
that was our
understand,
to-do,
but any
is to
software
test
can have
that.
But again,
And I
this is
don't
still an
think-
improvement to our current payroll system is what I'm asking for.
And what I'm saying is, if we don't vet out the concerns, it may not be an improvement, and then it's gonna flop. Then you're gonna have these road guys or other employees say, you promised us this was gonna do this, and it didn't. I think it's worth getting some of these questions answered, which I would have been happy to do had I known this was resurfacing today. I can reach out to Adam and see what the price difference is if we, I mean, I'm gonna ask you for another
It's a payroll
meeting
matter.
on
Please
Friday.
act on what I'm asking.
What was that?
I said, this is a payroll matter, and I'm asking on my behalf for benefiting
Well, I can-
my office currently.
I can see it's payroll matter, but it does
It affects
pull
more than
other
payroll.
things into it.
It's a change. It's a
Yeah.
change to staff, and it's gonna affect morale, and it's gonna affect a lot of things.
The
And you
big
wanna make sure
question
you
is-
get a system that's gonna do all the things we want. We're also looking at vacation and sick leave changes, like we just talked about. I have some questions if they can do some of these things that we ask if we make those changes. So I think it's worth an ask to Adam, what's the price difference if this gets pushed back and give us a little more time? I was going to ask you guys for a meeting on Friday because,
I won't be here Friday.
Okay, there's been other times somebody else has been able to sit in your
Well,
capacity.
I would like to see if,
So, the sheriff's office contract, we are meeting tomorrow, and that really needs to be, we had just a few housekeeping things, and that needs to be done by June 30th. So I was gonna ask you guys today if you'd be able to meet Friday morning for a brief meeting for that, because the sheriff's office and I are meeting tomorrow on that. And then I could reach out to Adam, and maybe he could do a little more due diligence on these pieces, and maybe we could hear what Ben found out, so that we at least had a few more of these questions answered. Maybe he's gonna say the difference is $1,000. Maybe he's gonna say it's $10,000. But again, I apologize, I didn't know this was coming, or I could have had these answers, and
I apologize, I didn't know I needed your permission to put it on the
So
agenda.
if we have this, if we're gonna get together Friday at a meeting, we're gonna have a special meeting Friday,
She won't be here.
I understand that.
What's it matter? You don't listen to my side anyway.
So, Haley's gonna be visiting with Adam. You know, she can find out if this thing's the price guarantee, if he would give us this coach. Be nice to get some questions answered.
The poor guy has been answering our questions left and right.
On the 15,000, we gotta pay that upfront, do we make monthly installments on that?
It's usually a lump sum, but it would be after the July, the new fiscal year. And we put that in our budget already.
I understand.
Actually, it was in this budget because we approved it in September,
Right.
but you never really did truly act on the redaction. I don't know if you gave Sue permission to redact it back in September too, so maybe you should act on that before you.
we had talked about that and decided if we thought we were still gonna go with this one, it wasn't worth doing that.
All right,
So that's-
gentlemen, let's just, come on, can we move on, please? Either make up your mind or, and I have an update on the other thing too.
You're the one that's involved with it.
I know.
You sat through it, did
Yeah.
your
had
people
people
liked
that-
it? I mean, I haven't heard any department head that did not like it.
I'm willing to jump on it.
So what is the concern about waiting until Friday? Just out of curiosity.
All right, we'll wait till Friday.
So when I'm not here to voice my opinion.
Well, I'm still leaning on
Okay.
You're-
it. I'm leaning on it.
so
Well,
you're
then why
making a
can't you make the
to
motion? There's three of you
table?
here.
Is
Three
that
of
what
you.
you're saying?
The two things that, like I said, the upgrade in salary, that you guys ain't gotta watch when they're 6
Correct,
months
but
is
the
up.
department heads have to do some work too, people. I mean,
Well, I know
like
you
Ron,
should.
you would know but if you put their anniversary date and longevities, what Nancy does is we have a checklist as well. But I don't think that would be a huge issue.
When I reached out to him, it sounded like that might not be possible, so I
But
wanted to
he's
vet.
working on it with their developers, I know that, so.
Right.
Because we're not the only county that has longevity.
Change to improve it, any software.
Yeah, and they have to make improvements, they hear
Well,
our
she could be
feedback.
here Friday. And she's, you
Why
know,
not just call the guy and ask him if we can?
He was not available this morning, and I know he's in a meeting, but he will be in attendance at my conference all week too.
He responded to an email for me this morning, so
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll respond on email.
He will, he said he was gonna reach out to
all
her.
right.
We can, see what Ben found out too about the tablets, that might be beneficial to just see
I
about
would
that
say,
piece.
how about you act on it, and if you want to redact it, then you would make a proper motion to redact it.
What does 3 days matter, Haley?
Okay, what do you want to do?
I just
Tracy?
want to
Use
move
that.
All
on.
right, all right.
It's on the
Tracy.
agenda.
I'm thinking on this right now. There's, like I said, there's 2 ways. I can't see 3 days. Can you come Friday?
What time?
We gotta set the agenda. I'm leaning on it.
I would prefer morning.
Okay. Friday,
Morning is
10
fine.
a.m.
Okay?
Because this isn't going to take too long with
No,
any.
we're already discussing it now.
Right,
Half hour or less.
I'm leaning on it.
okay. So you're going to table it till
Till Friday.
Friday at 10 a.m. All right, that's your motion.
That's my motion.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we moved and seconded to table this till Friday at 10 a.m. And then in the meantime, questions can be answered. Okay.
Between me and you, I don't wanna do email, I just as soon do a phone call.
Okay.
I'm gonna,
I understand he's gonna be busy at the conference, right?
But maybe I could sit with them and listen in on the conference call
that'd be good.
and hear your questions as well. I feel like I should be included.
Sure.
Yeah, see, this has gotta be before Friday, so, we've been emailing, is there a way that we can make a conference call today? We could send that to him, if he has a good time.
Sure.
We can all three get together yet today.
Or I could do it on my drive because I'm leaving. I have to be there.
Okay,
Yeah.
how's that sound?
I'm going to call for a vote.
Okay,
Okay? Trevor, aye.
Seaman, aye on the table.
Table, yes.
Your shake eye on the table.
Okay. That wasn't that hard. Okay. All right, then you guys will get together, the three of you, and have a call, correct? All right. Haley, you've got an update on DCAT and CPPC,
Yep,
correct?
as you're aware, we're the fiscal agent for that. That is going to be no longer after July 1st. So we will not be having that pass-through for the community partners for, can't remember the acronyms. Lisa Stout is the name from DH, it's through DHS. So after July 1st, we might just have some stragglers for any invoices that come through from June yet, but I just wanted to update you, we will not be doing that anymore if they dissolve the program, so.
Dissolved. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Good. Thank you. Questions? Okay. Well, let's move on to modifications for the handbook, section 2.7.
Yep, that's me.
You had
So,
sent us out
I
information.
sent that to you, yep, and I sent you 3 documents. One was our current handbook, one had read where, to highlight where the revisions were, and then the third was the proposed, what we are proposing. And I asked Alicia to be here because she was a big part of this subcommittee. You know, she deals with the claims and she sees all of those things come in. So, I don't know if you want me to just kind of highlight, like my email said, the major changes were related to, there was a lot of examples in there, so we took those out to kind of shorten it. I think it was 3 sections, we made it down to 2 sections. It was like, for example, if you do this, this will happen. And we just thought that was really wordy and not necessary if we put the language really clear in there. So, so the main things, I guess, was we had if you're in Lynn County, this is your mileage, and if you're here, this is this. We implemented the GSA, the government national mileage rate, and we put a link to that mileage rate in there. And so that also has per diem rates in it. And so that's like, you know, maybe eating and meals are more expensive in Des Moines than they are in Jessup or, you know, whatever. Or for those that fly or go to conferences out of state, maybe the cost of a conference in St. Louis, and those meals are different. So you go to this GSA link and it says what lodging is reasonable in that in that location, geographic location, what per diem is in that geographic location, and it breaks it up like that, instead of saying, I think we had a flat 30 and then it changed to a flat 60, but maybe that's not reasonable in, did somebody hit a remote?
Ron's playing with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
what would I do? Nice.
are you doing that intentionally?
No,
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna bring a PowerPoint up or something.
I dropped it.
So that is a main section that changed, is basically saying, instead of having an amount in there, saying, hey, when you travel, go click on this link, see what the rate is for your per diem, your lodging in that particular geographic area.
That's
So-
what you turn in for your.
Correct, yep. And then, another piece with the travel, and Ron actually introduced this piece to us, is, as you know, we've been talking about a pool car. And so, there is this GSA, and I think I did print those for you, just so you could kind of see what this GSA, on this General Service Administration federal site, it says, that if a government furnished automobile is available and the employee chooses not to use it, instead of getting reimbursed at the going mileage rate, they'd only get 21 cents a gallon. So again, this is just trying to be cost conscious, and if we have those pool cars available and somebody says, well, I don't want to take that, that would be a cost savings to us. So if they're making that choice, then they wouldn't get that full mileage rate. This is just to show you kind of how you look that up. It's 21 cents as of January 1st, 2024. I don't know what it was last year, if that's kind of average. Do you have any ideas? Go up a couple cents each
Here,
year? or-
Did you see the
Yeah.
version with the red ink
Did you
that
guys
they-
actually look at how much money we've spent in mileage payout versus what this is gonna save or not save?
No.
Like, you know, adding the insurance on the vehicle and all that, I just didn't know.
I think if we look at it for about 6 months, we'll see if it's gonna work.
But like, so when our fiscal year ends June 30th, take all the mileage payout
Yeah,
and compare all that to see.
because insurance is almost $1,000 a year.
So some other highlights, I think that main one was just kind of that piece. Alicia, remind me, what else did we talk about that I'm missing that we want to highlight?
With the lodging, it was pretty lengthy before. If it was a surrounding county, even if it just, like Iowa County or Poweshiek, that didn't, you couldn't get lodging there. We changed that to just 60 miles one way from the employee's home, because a lot of times that's where they're leaving from. And then Ray wanted, like if there's a trial in Lynn County and they're gonna be there, you know, multiple days, obviously, and say they live within that 60 miles, they could still stay. That would kind of make sense. And of course, there's always the exception. We thought, you know, winter weather or anything, like snowstorm came in and unplanned, can I stay a night so I don't, you know, out on the roads? They just have to call their supervisor ahead of time. And that's not, you know, 24 hours, it's just ahead of time. Hey, this came through, is it okay if I stay? Yes, obviously for their safety. The other thing was this, then we decided for like the start time, your event, it has to be, if it starts before 7:30, you could stay the night before, and that doesn't include registration time, because a lot of times that's earlier than your start actual conference time. And then if it's going after 5 p.m., the actual event, not a social event, you could stay that night and say you're coming home the next day. I think, like on the last day, that's pretty rare, but to where you might be staying, but you're staying there for the next day anyway, so I don't know for sure, but a lot of times it seems kind of like it would be pretty rare that they would have to stay an extra night and then come home the next day, but again, winter weather, you never know, Iowa, that type of thing. We thought we'd put the exception in there, of course.
That I'm sorry, Alicia, just while you're on that section with lodging, we did add that section 80.45. That was something that, per the Department of Public Safety, before securing lodging, an employer must confirm that the Public Safety Commission, human trafficking, that lodging is approved by that. That's some kind of legal thing that we didn't have in there. We just have to make sure that, for that case, that it meets that. And so we just put that kind of legal language in there.
I know some counties are making the employee print off that they verified that, and it'll tell you this is
Oh.
a safe, and then turning it in with the claim too, so that's something we can think about.
Yeah, if there's like a list or something I could have
Yep.
on my desk.
That's a good
Yep.
idea.
Or you just have that employee be responsible, they have to print you out that certificate stating that this is an okayed,
Okay,
and then turn it in with the claim.
okay.
And it would be all scanned in one place.
So do you fellas have any questions on their recommendation for the modifications?
Why do you chuckle?
Yeah, I was just wondering that.
Was there something funny in it?
No, I just,
Because we worked very hard.
Yeah. And I like the idea that, especially with the lodging or the meals, that you're going by the region, you know, as well, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little more work, but I feel a flat fee
Right.
isn't feasible, even doubling it, okay? I mean, I can eat for under $60, but, so I'm making money technically, and it's tax-free.
Well,
So I
that's-
don't feel like
that's
that's always open.
For the day,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah, but,
And a lot of times too, did you guys look at, like, the county pays for registration fees for the conference that includes lunch, sometimes
yes,
they
they have
include
to have their
breakfast.
agenda.
So,
Yes.
It was
I'm
in
glad
there
you brought
too.
that up. We did include that as well. I think sometimes the habit is, okay, give me $60 a day. But then if you would get the agenda, you'd see that, they paid for lunch and breakfast. And so, this says in there, in the event you're attending an event that provides meals, these amounts are subtracted from your per diem rate. And so when Alicia gets those claims, they're told that they need to add that agenda. And when you go to that GSA table, it says you get $10 for lunch, $20, or $10 for breakfast, $20 for lunch, $40 for dinner, or whatever. And so if I went to that tomorrow and 2 out of my 3 meals were paid for, she sees that agenda, and then I should only ask for dinner at $30, because, not the full 60, because those other 2 meals were paid for. So, just, again, trying to be good stewards of the money and, that sort of thing.
Ron, I know that you were checking on the license plates.
Mhm.
Well, I just gone.
It'd have a white license plate, official county on it,
Okay,
and I spoke with Haley, she's fairly sure, and I'll check with Bo at Tharps. We'll have to mark the car on the side with our Benton County logo.
sure. Okay,
and another concern with that pool car, so for example, you're in West Des Moines at a conference, what if they wanna go shopping or after activities, and they're in that county car, and they get in a fender bender in a mall parking lot, then what, how are you guys gonna handle all that?
well, I think you had talked about this yourself, Ron.
That's why I drive my own car.
And
Me
that's
too.
why you
I mean,
drive
'cause I'm
your,
gonna, yeah,
yeah, so that you can do some of those,
And I don't turn in
Activities.
mileage,
yeah. So
just for that reason.
that's, yeah. So if you're driving a county vehicle, it's for county business.
or if
And
you're
not
on your way
entertainment.
home and you go off the path and you're in a fender bender, like, that's the kind of thing that.
And I know in our meeting, it was talked about, this kind of goes for any county vehicle somebody takes. We don't really have a policy. If they break down, who do they call? Do we call a tow truck? I mean, there's no policy, and that's, I'm talking any
Yeah.
county vehicle, not just.
Yeah, no offense to your old vehicles, Ron, but that would be a concern.
Could be.
I think that's an addendum or something we need to,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And maybe have things in the car, you know, if this happens, call this number.
Sure.
Especially if it's a fender bender, I mean, and then that would be a claim, you know, possibly work comp, you know.
Well,
So we should just have little kind of safety cards.
There's a check sheet through Heartland if you get in a wreck.
Mhm.
Like you do in your shared vehicles or something.
and
And we do
there's
back.
many other counties that are using county vehicles, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's keep moving. What do you think, fellas? This is their recommendation they've been working on. That's what we've got them, this committee for. So, need a motion to approve or disapprove.
Do you guys have any questions on it?
You got 3 different things, right?
Yep, I sent you current handbook language, then I
Yep.
sent you red would be current handbook
Changes.
language, and then red is we want this instead, and then that was, then the cross out would be what we took out, and then the third attachment you had is here's our proposal.
Right. And then you gave us the handout, the GSA.
Yeah, that just shows you,
Mm-hmm.
this is the site, so that's a link in here.
Basically, these two would go together.
Mhm.
Mhm. Right,
And then that'll change every year.
of course, the GSA portion.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's why I like not putting a number in there, because you don't have to go back in and change it, it's just go to this link and see what the new rates are in 2025 and 2026.
Sure. Do you need to see him, Gary?
What's that?
Do you need to see any of this? Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to approve the modifications to the handbook, section 2.7, and I will call for a vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Thursday, aye.
Are we gonna do that by a resolution and type it in, the changes, or how do you?
So when we did it for the holiday one, we didn't do it for a resolution, it just,
Because in some of the handbooks, we have a clause in there that says by board's resolution, so I
Yeah, I think
I think you should do it more official document to make those official changes, so it's
Yeah.
worded in our minutes as
Well,
such.
then, shall we, I know,
I- well,
I know, but.
I just thought of it like, I feel like it should be, so that it's
I agree.
black and white, everybody knows,
I agree.
Okay,
We'll put that on Fridays too.
for a
By
resolution.
okay.
so do we need to redo the holiday one we did in February?
I
I
was-
probably would, maybe just
Yeah.
do a resolution for all your handbook amendments.
Okay,
Sorry about
Because,
that.
then it would
Especially
be-
since we're not signing off.
yeah,
That makes
Then maybe
sense.
once it's all done,
then
we
you'd
can
have
have
to,
a copy and have everybody's
yeah,
employees. sign
like at
off.
your all-employee meeting, are you gonna do that again this year? I would make sure
Mhm.
maybe that handbook be done by that, and that'd be your goal, to have everybody sign off on it and pick it up.
Okay.
Mhm.
So they know all the official changes.
All right.
Um,
Good.
Can you add that, Haley, for Friday?
Yep, or I'll tell Liz, because I won't be here.
So,
We'll have to discuss it.
okay.
Just approve it.
Yeah.
Approve resolution
Create
for
a resolution for the
handbook
holiday
changes.
section.
Have the number, yeah,
And for
both
this.
numbers,
Okay.
I would say resolution approving handbook
put a number on it,
revisions.
you know,
Yeah.
what, minutes.
So would you be able to get me a number of numbers for those? Okay.
Alicia, I might have you do my funds transfers too then, so we'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you. I think this is gonna be good for staff and county.
Moving on, reports.
Landfill last week, everything status quo. They had a fight, a lot of wind last week, last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I was down there yesterday and amazed how fast that cell is filling up.
Got a long ways to go.
Oh, yeah, oh, I
Go
get it.
up.
Yeah, I get
They
it.
got the whole bottom slough layer, I guess they call it,
Uh,
down low.
It's cone shaped, so the bottom's gonna fill up faster,
Yep,
so,
yep.
yep, for sure. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
I had Heartland, a Zoom meeting, we went over the insurance information, which takes effect 1st of July. Yeah. Gary?
Got a meeting, I think, Thursday.
All right. That's the reports. Public input. Doug?
I just got, Doug Cook, I got two quick questions. One is, this thing you tabled for Friday, is that gonna be open to the public?
Our
Be
meetings are.
here
Our
at 10
meetings
o'clock?
are. Yes.
That's just one, and then the other one was, last Tuesday I wasn't here because I went up to Hazelton. And I made a point to look at all the gravel roads. I think our bunch should go take a ride up and go through those roads. I'm not very happy with our county roads, the gravel, the way it's put down, what it's doing, how they're doing it. It's just not, up there, I couldn't believe it. I could hardly tell I was on a gravel road from the paved road. So I don't know, I know Myron's not here to defend himself or explain, or maybe they don't send guys anywhere, that one guy teaches the next guy, I don't know. But I know our roads are a mess. And I agree with some of these guys that come through here.
That's one reason I was coming to this meeting today, is I just wanted to get that on the agenda.
Please, to talk, please state your name.
I'm sorry, Christine Abeer, and I've lived on Gravel Road out here for 19 years. And I had meant to do this, that's when I came to the first meeting, but I got kind of caught up in the
Sure.
tonal, whatever. But like this year, and I would like the county engineer, because I've kind of asked about it, they keep talking about this windrow, or is it a wind road? Windrow, W-I-N?
WIND.
Oh, it's a windrow. Okay, it does nothing to stop the wind on a gravel road. It's just wasted gravel. This past year, as soon as they put a new gravel down, I was just thrilled. It was there for 15 minutes. They covered it, and it was like, yes, let's let this get settled here for a little bit, and don't mess with it, and then come back after it's rained, after it's settled. But nope, he comes in 15 minutes later, all the same holes are there. And we literally had, on 29th Avenue, we had a wind road that was this wide and this tall. And every day I saw a new skid loader had went in there and got it. There's actually 3 houses on 29th Avenue. That's it, on coming south. But our traffic right now, it's exasperated, of course, since 150's closed, because the road is closed, our road. We have 18-wheelers going up and down there all day long. Our roads are hideous. I'm having to go over hills on curves to miss potholes this big. It's terrible. And it's been like that way since I've lived out here, never complained, but it's gotten worse. It's like gravel on, gravel off, gravel on, gravel off. My ditches get so full of gravel that gets thrown out in it, I don't even know, like, can't we just put the gravel on it and leave it? Everybody keeps telling me, you need a base. It's like, the gravel is the base, it's a gravel road. Once you take the gravel off, it becomes back to Soup Road on 29th Avenue. They're hideous.
I'd recommend that you guys, when Myron's here.
Can we have him here, or can we get it on agenda to talk with him?
I'm sorry, what was the
Could we
question?
get it on a future meeting agenda to talk about with him and here?
I would say so. yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and there's no time, whenever, like I said, I've been out here 19 years and dealt with it without ever complaining.
Maybe give me your phone number and then we can coordinate, see what works with Myron, so that
Perfect.
we could be here at the same time. Would that work?
Yep.
Then I'll talk to him on his
That'd
schedule.
be great.
Thank you.
We also had a gentleman from Keystone that was here, and he was talking about the same type of thing, and then what happens when it rains, all that gravel keeps the water in the road. So, I mean, this is not news to you, but I just wanted to let you know that I was in another county, and I kind of think we should take some lessons from somebody else. I hate to say it, but sometimes there's a new widget.
Russell, I know you wanted to speak.
I just want to make sure, put it on documentation, that I'm representing the Historic Preservation Committee for the supervisors. And as of last week, we had a change in our building where our office was completely removed, and that's where the nurses will be set in there. So we have no place at all. I've talked to a couple of supervisors, I haven't talked to Gary yet, but I'd like to be able to use this office as a evening meeting area, if we can get in to use it. They can use the outside door there, so that way you don't bother anything in there, whatever your wishes are. We have some files that we need to utilize. And there's a closet right behind your setting there. We can actually try and put file cabinets inside there, so it looks a good area to hide things in, or whatever like that. But it'd be locking file cabinet, that way the historic reservation and also the I like that. Cemetery.
Pioneer
committee,
Cemetery.
The other one is the other, also same. They've actually moved their information over to the Orage House here in Benton, which they shouldn't be doing it anyway because it's a county business is what it is. It shouldn't be in Orage. I had a meeting there last night with Orage and I got hit pretty hard on that one. But we need to put that somewhere, and we put cabinets inside the closet, make it like halfway decent. Utilize this in the evening at all. We don't want to use the courthouse because, you know, somebody have to open the door up, alarms, everything like that. So I think it's better just be here in this room right here and take care of it. And that's what I'm asking for.
I don't know if it's legit or not. The old dog pound out east of town, is anybody using that right now?
The last they used it was the Legion used it for something.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure.
the VFW, I believe it was.
Would you be interested in utilizing that building? I don't.
Not-
It's been through a lot of buildings, I know that.
I don't know if I'm clear off base here or whatever, but if you want a place that's yours, that you want to leave stuff and then come back, I just don't know.
That building, we were also approached last week, the building across the street from the courthouse, the old public health that used to house public health is for sale again too. And it has like 8 parking spots in the back, and it's got office space. I don't know, I know I talked to you about it, but the gentleman said he would make a good deal or cheap lease if that was something that we were interested in again. And it would have the exam rooms and everything already set up now that Tracy fixed that room, but something to think about. And it would be convenient, like Scott said, all the storage for supplies could be moved from the hospital there, should be easily accessible to the sheriff's office too.
Just for the dog pound, I think they've been, conservation's been toying with the idea they want to sell it.
So they pay the city bill. They pay the city bill on it. Isn't that the one they're just recently?
Conservation pays for the utilities.
That's owned by the conservation.
Right.
Just
I thought they found that in that clause that they were to sell it, there's a clause in that deed when they got it.
Yeah, somehow,
Because we were approached to sell it years ago.
That's an old country schoolhouse block is what it is.
yes.
And the conservation had it, but they related it to, I don't know.
Well, Russell, there'd be a couple hurdles to clear as far as using this room, because that was my original suggestion. And one of them's gonna be the printer that
We have a
historical.
printer there that
Correct.
should be moved somewhere.
And then I believe there was a desktop computer rather than a
Yeah.
laptop.
Yeah.
And so there was some concerns of someone messing with those. But again, if they're shut down after use, you know, you gotta have a password to log on it, I would assume. So, you know, as long as it's okay with all the different things that was thrown at us, you know, I was told that they like to leave things lay out on a table. Couldn't happen here, so.
Do you want us to put it on Friday for a formal action item?
What's that?
for your space that you want to utilize,
Yeah.
since it wasn't really an item.
Add it? Okay.
That way, if you were to use that, we have to give you a certain key and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, it'd be very limited who would be in there, so.
Okay, all right, good.
I'll put it on.
And your cabinet, would you be closed and
That
locked
one is
and
mine
everything?
locked, but anything over
Those
here.
would be open, but
Yeah, yep, and we
They're
could
covered.
probably, if you wanted to put locks on them, we could, I don't know how you would lock these, but,
I don't think you can lock those.
Just
but
locking
You can use
cabinets.
it inside.
yeah, because your file cabinets could be locked probably, so.
I've got a member of the historical committee ringing in, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer that right now, okay?
They're like.
Denton County Supervisors,
Hey, I'm actually trying to get over to Ben.
Ben
Yeah.
is our IT office.
Robert,
He
please
is
hold on.
located in the courthouse.
Okay.
Okay, so is there
Hold on just a
no
moment,
direct
please.
transfer from here then?
No, there
Another
is not,
phone call
sorry.
going on.
No, that's okay. Do you have that number by chance?
I do,
Okay.
yep, are you ready? It's
Yes.
319-436-0444.
Got it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, sorry about that, Robert. I do want to tell you that this is going to be an agenda item for this coming Friday at 10 a.m.
Okay, this Friday, 10 a.m.?
That is correct, so I welcome you to come to the meeting, okay?
Well, I just want to say, he's not there representing the Benton County Historic Preservation Commission official. He's on his own,
Oh, okay,
because we did not talk about this.
sure. Well, we will be here on Friday, okay?
All right,
So-
I'll be there.
That away. Thank you.
Okay,
All right,
yeah.
bye-bye. Okay, good. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll get this on for Friday and
Okay.
get it handled, okay?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All right, been moved and seconded to adjourn. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Stephen, I.
Thank you.
A long time to sit.
Ron, do you still want to meet there?